What is cracking? It just so happens to be that time for another Rice Rewind. And today I am re-releasing interview number 3 with Roger Ver, which means I will include links down below in the video description and above for our first 2 interviews together. Roger is an early Bitcoin OG and advocate, as well as an early investor in many important cryptocurrency startups that still exist today. He has also been known as both Bitcoin Jesus and Bitcoin Judas. This third interview was recorded and released on April 15th, 2020. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today's guest on the Rice Crypto Show for the third time is Mr. Roger Ver. Roger, how you doing today, man?
Glad to be back again. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And the last time I had you on a couple weeks ago, we were talking all about the financial system. So I told you, to be fair, I would bring you back on and we would talk about Bitcoin Cash, because there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to kind of get some updates on. It's hard for me as a content creator to keep up with what's going on with all the projects, and I'm trying to learn about different ones. So bringing people on like yourself to kind of update and educate me and educate others, I think is definitely a valuable experience. So let's talk a little bit. We had the Bitcoin halvening take place last week. I think it was Wednesday the 9th. The Bitcoin Cash halvening took place, and we're now about 28 days away from the Bitcoin halvening itself. So we didn't really see a lot of action take place. And I think that you had said something publicly that you weren't really expecting a bunch of price action for the halvening event. So do you want to talk a little bit about the halvening?
Sure. I'm pretty sure I said that I thought nothing was going to happen, and sure enough, nothing happened. So,
and I guess that kind of covers that.
Yeah, we should go on to the next topic. Although we should maybe talk about the Bitcoin's halvening coming up here in a couple of weeks. Maybe a little bit more will happen with that one. And the only reason I think anything might happen with that one is because the last 2 times nothing happened. This time, though, the difference is the blocks are full most of the time on Bitcoin. And so that's never been the case with any of the previous 2 halvenings. So if the blocks are full most of the time on Bitcoin and they have a halvening and a bunch of hash rate disappears, and instead of the blocks being every 10 minutes apart, they suddenly become every 15 or 20 minutes apart, that will make the network congestion even worse on Bitcoin than it was previously. And what will that do? It'll make the fees go up high again, and the transactions be even less reliable than they are already. And so it'll give more people another taste of that bad user experience on Bitcoin, and maybe drive people to things like Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum or Dash or take your pick. Like, I'm happy to talk about any cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrencies as a whole are the best tool that the world has ever seen to bring more economic freedom to the world. And within that set of cryptocurrencies, I think Bitcoin Cash is one of the very leaders of the pack to having the ability to bring that economic freedom to the whole world. And that's what motivates me to get up every morning and promote it some more.
Well, I'm glad you said it that way too. And I mean, you've said it in previous interviews, and I'll have links down below for those. I mean, you're not a maximalist of any kind. You believe in the technology, you believe in what cryptocurrency represents, the ideas of the Satoshi white paper for Bitcoin. So I definitely like the fact that you're not being a maximalist, but I did promise that we would get into some things with Bitcoin Cash, and I really did want to get some updates. And obviously all eyes are going to be on the halvening for Bitcoin, and only time can tell, because we're in a completely unique position as well as far as our economic system. So a lot of different things can come into play when it comes to the halvening. But with Bitcoin Cash, one of the things that I got excited about with the first interview I did with you, you were talking about the mixer that was going to be added to the mobile wallet. I don't think it's been added yet to the mobile wallet. If we could talk about that. And I think you said it's available now on desktop.
Yeah, so it's been available on desktop for a while. If you go to cashshuffle.com right now, you can download the cash shuffling wallet for Bitcoin Cash that gives you pretty decent privacy. There's a new and improved version of that called Cash Fusion that's already available for desktop. You have to search around and grab it from like the GitHub repository there. But we're looking to build that same exact system right into the more than 10 million wallets that have been created on the Bitcoin.com wallet. So everybody will have super easy access to super fast, super cheap, super reliable, and super private transactions on the Bitcoin Cash network. In fact, it's so private that the number of potential ways to have shuffled up your coins with this platform is more than the total number of atoms in the entire universe. right? So think about how big the universe is, how many stars and planets, and how many, everything there is out there, and how many individual atoms there are, and all that matter that's out there in the world. There's more potential combinations. There's a higher number of combinations available, possibilities that your coins would have been shuffled up when using this cash fusion thing, than there are atoms in the entire universe. And that's some pretty amazing
No, that's pretty
things to think
wild.
about.
When do you
Yeah.
when are you guys anticipating having it available in a mobile wallet?
Well, you can get it right now for desktop today, and I'm using it on my desktop today. It's really fun, and it's amazing to look at the transactions on the Block Explorer, and you can see so many inputs in and so many inputs out, and a bunch of people are participating, and you have no idea which outputs correspond with which inputs. How long until we have that on mobile? I hope before the end of the year. If we get it out before the end of the year, I'll be pretty darn happy.
Okay, cool. And I know you mentioned something. I know that we have a USD is now on the Tether is on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. You had mentioned something about something in a mobile wallet that was going to allow people to trade between Bitcoin Cash and the Tether that's on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Tether announced that Tether's coming to the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, the SLP tokens, and it should be out, any day now. I forgot to check that this morning when I got up. Maybe today's the day. It's coming imminently. And once that's out, we'll make it so people can swap in and out of both BTC and BCH into a stable coin right there in their Bitcoin.com wallet. So if you think the market's going to go down, go to the stable coin. If you think the market's going to go up, bounce back out of the stable coin into Bitcoin Cash. And so people will be able to do that right there from within their wallet. And that'll be another handy, useful thing to have.
And I think that's a great idea. And that's why I wanted to ask you about it. Now, to kind of backtrack again on the mixer, is that feature supposed to be an automatic feature that's going to be available in the wallet when it's there?
It'll be turned on by default. So everybody, without having to do anything, will have the privacy mode enabled by default. And you'll have to go in and manually disable it if you don't want it for some reason.
Okay. Now with it seems like governance and like regulation models aren't very pro mixer technology. So do you think that there's going to be any issues with coming regulation and how that's going to affect the wallet being available to people in different countries?
And there's always, regulatory issues, but the way this works is there's no central entity that's running the mixer. There's no central party that's running it. It's just anybody and everybody, just like the network itself. So there's nobody for them to threaten directly in regards to this, because there's nobody that's actually running it or at the helm. And that's what
Okay,
makes
cool.
cryptocurrencies in general so exciting.
That's the powerful thing about decentralization. But I really like this aspect of what the mixer technology offers, because I mean, we have the idea. I've talked to people about the idea in the future that some of these Bitcoin that have been used in dark web transactions and the way that they're able to use chain analysis and figure things out, that certain addresses could be kind of tainted or have something somehow be flagged, and maybe somebody who owns this particular Bitcoin who wasn't even involved in any of those activities are going to suffer because they're the ones who happen to own this dirty money. So, I mean, having that mixer shuffle kind of capability takes away that aspect and kind of empowers the people more. And I really,
And yeah, what you're talking about, and that's a disaster for fungibility. And one of the things that makes money is fungibility. And so in order for something to be useful as money, it has to be fungible. And BTC has really poor fungibility. Ethereum has even worse fungibility. So we want to bring fungibility, not just to Bitcoin Cash. I want to see every cryptocurrency that's goal is to be used as a currency. It has to be fungible. So let's make these cryptocurrencies fungible, because that's what makes cash cash.
I agree. And fungibility is definitely an important topic. I mean, some people aren't even aware. I try to explain what fungibility is let's use a dollar, for example. The dollar in my pocket is the same as a dollar in your pocket, and we can buy the same thing, and there's no difference in between. But like we were mentioning, when you can flag technology in a negative manner, it definitely puts, it stifles that technology and definitely kind of puts people in a bad position. So, I'm always interested in ways to kind of get around the system and try to make this technology for the people, because it just seems like there's too much of the legacy system trying to infiltrate their way into these projects and try to create centralized solutions for decentralized cryptocurrencies. And it's very frustrating. So I appreciate people like you, and I appreciate the Bitcoin Cash camp. I appreciate Dash. I appreciate all these different cryptocurrencies that are trying to take power away from governance, central banks, fiat currencies, and give it back to the people, man. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah,
And
and what could be better than putting people in charge of their own lives? And that's kind of the whole point. So that what could be more decentralized than that? Each individual in
right.
charge of their own life.
I mean, of course, that's what we want, but it seems like the powers that be, that's not what they want for us. And apparently they know what we need more than what we need. So I just try to
And you're willing
educate
to use
people
violence
about this.
to impose that upon the rest of us, whether you want it imposed upon you or not. So that's a real big problem in the world. And hopefully these technologies can be more empowering of the individuals than they are empowering of the state to control individuals. And so like it remains to be seen which one is going to win out, if these technologies are going to help the individual more than the state. But it's our job as those that support individuals having control of their own lives. Let's build these technologies so that they do empower the individuals. Let's spread the word about these technologies that empower individuals so that people can be aware of them and use them, and avoid the ones that are, the state being used to control everybody's everything.
Awesome. Well said, man. Well said, Roger. I did want to ask you as well about the SLP tokens, the simple ledger protocol tokens. Would that be similar or the same thing as the idea of the colored coins back on the Bitcoin blockchain?
A little bit different, but similar. So like a lot of people don't realize this, the tokens were starting to blossom on top of Bitcoin, BTC, way back as early as like 2012. There was colored coins and a bunch of different things. And then these same Blockstream guys that strangled the block size, they strangled the ability of Bitcoin to handle tokens as well. So all that entire token ecosystem wound up migrating to Ethereum. Like I don't think Ethereum would have gotten much traction at all. In fact, Vitalik wouldn't have even built Ethereum if Bitcoin had been allowed to scale. At first, he was looking at building it on top of Bitcoin, and he saw the mentality of these, core developers over at Blockstream, and thought, well, shoot, I'm not going to. And they, at the time he was looking, they weren't at Blockstream yet. They went to Blockstream later, but he was looking at their mentality and the people that had basically were managing to wrestle control of the project away from the original people. And he thought, well, I'm not going to build on this. They're gonna handicap the ability for me to be able to do these tokens and do these smart contracts. So he went off and started Ethereum on his own. And good to him. There's more decentralization within the ecosystem as a whole. But sad for Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin could have had all that economic activity on top of it if it wasn't for that. So the actual question is SLP like colored coins? It's similar in the sense that like you're able to make tokens and send them around, and bounce them to and from each other. It's different in the way it's done. But if you want to make your own token right now, head on over to mint.bitcoin.com. We made it so easy. So anybody, if you already have like even a penny's worth of Bitcoin Cash, you can make your own token in like 15 seconds. If you don't have any already, go and get the bitcoin.com wallet, post your SLP token address in the comments below. And somebody on another channel asked me to make Roger Ver tokens. I made some Roger Ver tokens yesterday. I'll send you some Roger Ver tokens, or we can make some ricecrypto tokens and send those out as well. Okay. Or you can make whatever token you want over at mint.bitcoin.com. It's so easy to make your own token right now, today.
I mean, that's one of the good things I've noticed with a lot of the development on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain is that there's a lot of projects that are just making things very easy. I mean, like with Purse, all the different like Travala, just it's so simple to, especially when you're using the mobile wallet, because all these features are built right inside of that. And, I like that ease of use. I mean, we need to see that kind of thing if we're going to have mainstream adoption. Cryptocurrencies need to be so easy that people don't even realize that they're utilizing this technology. And I think that's going to kind of advance us a little bit more forward. But is there any other news or any other updates that for recent things that have already happened that I haven't covered with you?
Yeah, another big thing that I think a lot of people aren't aware of yet is local.bitcoin.com. You can now buy and sell physical items in any country denominated in the local currency there. So you can sell your car, you can sell your used iPad, you can sell your old shoes, you can buy your new shoes, you can buy whatever you want over there at local.bitcoin.com. In addition to being able to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash for any payment method in any country, all with no KYC on this platform. It's a really, really cool peer-to-peer platform in which Bitcoin.com never touches the money in any way whatsoever. So because Bitcoin.com is never touching the money in any way whatsoever, we don't have to KYC anybody. It's just so easy to get started at local.bitcoin.com. And it's just fun browsing the different items that are for sale there. You'll be surprised when you see, oh, look at that. People are literally selling like brand new tennis shoes and like, computer stuff and cars and like,
I didn't know you guys were doing that. Yeah,
most people don't. So I need your help to get the word out. It just launched a couple of weeks ago. It's really cool. But there's thousands of items already for sale on there. So it's really amazing seeing people from all over the world starting to list their items. And if you want to help this get even more traction, go and do some shopping on there. Or if you have some stuff you don't need at your house anymore, if you have last year's iPhone that you don't use anymore because you bought a new one, go and list it for sale over there. And it's really, really neat. So if you're the one that's selling something for Bitcoin Cash, there is no possible way you could be cheated rather, as long as you use the escrow platform there. So that once the Bitcoin Cash is locked into the escrow, boom, both parties know that the money is going to be there. And if you're a seller of some other item there as well, you know that the person that's claiming that they want to buy the item, you know that they have the ability to pay for it because they've locked the Bitcoin Cash into the escrow. Like on lots of these other sites, if you post something on Craigslist, who knows if the guy that's calling you or emailing you actually has the money or the ability to pay for whatever it is that they want. On this platform, they cannot contact you until they have proof that they have the money to pay for whatever it is that they want from you. So it's a really neat system to help keep out the riffraff as well.
That's very cool. I love free marketplaces, and I think that we need more things like that. Shout
Another
out to.
fantastic example is Open Bazaar, right? If you haven't checked out Open Bazaar, check that one out as well. It's another cool example of how people can use cryptocurrencies to buy and sell anything all over the world.
Very cool. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ross Ulbricht because, Silk Road, I think, definitely paved a way for this kind of free market idea where people are taking a chance and allowing people to actually just operate in a free market sense, which we don't see, because of our governance and our regulations that gets put in place and all this negative connotation, putting it as the black market and making it sound bad when it's just
they're
open
literally
free
threatening.
market.
Yeah, they're literally in America threatening to arrest people if they sell hand sanitizer for a price they don't like. And it's just so insane. So, but yeah, use cryptocurrencies and use things like Open Bazaar or local.bitcoin.com or some darknet market site to engage in free trade with peaceful people. I mean, what sort of violent psychopath wants to toss people in jail for selling something at a price they don't like? Yet that's the world we live in. So let's help disempower the psychopaths and empower the peaceful people.
And I'm glad that you mentioned it too, because I have sold some things in the past month using like Facebook Marketplace and things like that. I used to use Craigslist, but Facebook Marketplace, you can kind of see somebody's profile and get an idea of who somebody is and who you're dealing with. But I would much rather do this with cryptocurrency. So, the idea of what you guys are
Please
doing
give
there.
local.bitcoin.com a try the next time you want to try selling something.
No, I definitely will. And I got a few things that I've been looking to get rid of. Actually, I got a bunch of old like toys I collect that I think I want to put up for sale. So maybe I'll use that site and try that out.
Yeah,
Is there
please do.
anything
Give
else
it a try.
we can expect for the rest of the year? Any new developments that you're excited about that you want to share?
Yeah, I think the main thing is the privacy tool coming to the Bitcoin.com wallet. We have the local.bitcoin.com platforms getting more and more traction. And you can make tokens already. Like I think those things coming together, plus our Bitcoin Cash strap. If you have a restaurant or a bar or any sort of physical shop and you want to start accepting Bitcoin Cash for you and your employees there, check out the Bitcoin Cash Registry app. It absolutely makes Bitcoin Cash the easiest cryptocurrency to start accepting at your physical business. It's so easy. And if you want to find physical businesses near you that are accepting Bitcoin Cash, check out map.bitcoin.com and you can see all the places near you. And if you want to get really clever and want to figure out a way to buy Bitcoin Cash with your credit card with no markup or fee whatsoever, what you can do is if there's a restaurant or somebody that owns a business that you know and trust, you leave your credit card with them. You set up the Bitcoin Cash Register app on their tablet at their restaurant or bar. It's linked to pay the Bitcoin Cash to your own wallet. So that way, when somebody goes in and wants to pay with Bitcoin Cash at the restaurant, the owner accepts the Bitcoin Cash using the Bitcoin Cash Register app. It goes directly to your wallet. But then the owner who doesn't know about cryptocurrency or doesn't care about it, they just swipe your credit card. And then you can take a look at your special wallet, make sure every time you got Bitcoin Cash lines up with every time they build your credit card. But now a new place in your neighborhood is accepting Bitcoin Cash and spreading the word that way. Plus you're getting Bitcoin Cash paid for with your credit card with no markup whatsoever. And you might even be able to get a tax deduction out of it, depending on what sort of business is charging your credit card there. So that's another really good idea or a good way to be able to buy Bitcoin Cash with no markup whatsoever using your credit card and spread adoption all at the same time. So check out the Bitcoin Cash Register app if you haven't
Very
already.
cool. Now, I know a lot of this information is kind of centralized in the Bitcoin Cash mobile wallet, the Bitcoin.com mobile wallet, excuse me. Does a lot of this information, because I have not had a chance to do it before the interview, does it mirror on the website? Can everybody find like all this information in one place, like all the different benefits and easy ways they can spend and use Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, so there's the Bitcoin.com website has all sorts of information on this, and then the Bitcoin.com YouTube channel as well. I have lots of tutorials and guides and explain how to do this for people around the world. You can see how to make your own token. You can see how to pay dividends to the token holders. You can see the Bitcoin Cash Register app in action. You can see local.bitcoin. So check out the Bitcoin.com YouTube channel in addition to the Rice Crypto channel as well. And if we'll repost this video later on the Bitcoin.com channel. If you're watching there, check out Rice Crypto's channel as well. And that way you can, the more people you can learn from in the world, the more you can learn. So.
Yeah, man. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I really appreciate you throwing my video up of our last conversation on the Bitcoin.com YouTube channel. It's kind of an honor to be on there. I respect a lot of what you've done in your work in the cryptocurrency game, man. And I appreciate the fact that you're fighting for freedom and that you're standing for the same thing. No matter what you're representing, you're still representing those same ideologies and that same philosophy that you got into when you first were here in the space. You've done a lot for the space. I mean, you've invested in a lot of companies. I don't think there would be a lot of companies out or in existence if it hadn't been for you and other individuals who started, investing in these different companies and just believing in this technology, man. So I appreciate everything you've done, and to be included on there is really awesome. So I will have links down below just in case people haven't checked those out or don't know where to find them about everything that we've talked about in today's interview. So before we wrap things up, I kind of want to trace back to where we were talking the last interview when we were talking about the economy. Since we talked last, man, with everything that's kind of going on, and everybody's got a lot of time to really sit and think about what's happening. Like where's your head at right now?
Yeah, I think it depends on how quickly they reopen the world's economy here, right? With everybody being locked down and not able to go to work, none of these goods and services that people need are being produced, or far less of them are being able to be produced when people are all staying at home. So if this continues much longer, like it's going to be every day that it continues, it becomes a bigger and bigger problem.
It does.
And so I want to see this lockdown come to an end today. I think especially for young and healthy people, or people that have already, had the coronavirus, let them out, send them back to work. Like, let every single person that's like under 40 go back to work and go about their normal lives. And then people between like 40 and 50, like let them, decide. I know everybody should decide for themselves, but if the government is really going to like force people to stay at home, don't force the people that are less than 40 to stay at home, right? Like they're at very low risk from the coronavirus.
Right.
People that are, in their 60s or 70s, they're at high risk, right? But people that are under 40, the risk is really low. Let them go back to the factories. Let them go back to the businesses. Let them go back and get the economy going again, because that's what provides everything that we need in our daily life.
Hopefully it'll be just that easy. I mean, and it kind of pisses me off. I've seen something recently with Fed President Fred Bullard, I think is his name. And, the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with our government, but yet he's making suggestions to our government in the idea that people need to go basically get tested and wear a badge saying that they don't have COVID, and then they could be allowed.
Are they going to be yellow stars on people's sleeves?
That's what I'm saying. Like where are we headed? Like, it seems like nothing. I mean, obviously it looks like nothing is going to be the same as it was before, but it really feels like the power, the grip. Actually, John McAfee said it very well. We're in a cage, and that cage every day just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And, I'm just wondering when people are going to get fed up. That's why I wanted to ask you, like, just kind of to revisit like where we were at, because that conversation was a pretty deep conversation. You study economics. We're at a terrible point right now. Even if we open up the economy right now, I don't know that it's going to be enough to salvage the situation. I don't know that the Fed's going to be able to print their way out of this. It's just, we're in no man's land.
Yeah. When are people going to get fed up and say enough is enough? And I wish I'm an optimist about so many things in so many areas of life. Like, I'm always the glass is half full type of guy, but I don't know how much of an optimist I am for this. So like, I did some time in federal prison, and I saw firsthand just how obedient people become and how they just do anything and everything that they're told to. Or you can see these psychological experiments. I think they were done at Stanford or one of the Ivy League schools. And they trick some, just normal human being. They say, oh, you're doing a scientific research, and an authority figure tells them that they have to electrocute the person in the other room that's doing a memory test. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah, I have.
And the person that's, they literally think that they're electrocuting the other person to death. And like more than half the people do it because somebody wearing a white lab coat tells them the experiment must go on. Mm-hmm. And so they're literally willing basically to kill people because an authority figure told them to do so. And this is just an authority figure wearing a white lab coat. Imagine what an authority figure, with a badge and a gun telling you to do something. Of course, people are going to obey them. And it's really frustrating and sad, but I don't know what the solution there is, other than to maybe give people the tools to be able to just, secretly go about their lives and not be, threatened by these people with, costumes and guns.
Well, the best that we can do, man, honestly, is, you've been doing this for a minute. You've been, promoting freedom for quite a while, and you've inspired
Feels like
people.
A decade.
and it has been. And you've inspired people like myself. So we're planting seeds, man. we're planting seeds and we're watering the seeds. You know, I might be watering some seeds you planted, someone else might be watering seeds, and eventually those seeds start to flower. We start to see something grow from that. So I'm not trying to give up hope, and I know you're not. But I'm definitely trying to stay as positive as I can, because if we don't, then, you know, we just succumb to everything. We're going to be like those dudes in jail who just stick their head between their legs and just deal with it, because that's what they have to deal with. And it doesn't have to be that way. I try to remind people that we have power, but we just need to stand united. And unfortunately, you know, there's been so much being done in the world that's trying to divide people and now keep us away from one another. It's time that, you know, really right now, I'm trying to use this time well myself to try to help wake up people, educate people, plant more seeds, water more seeds, just be that change that I want to see in this world, man. So
Yeah, and you never know when and where those seeds are going to sprout, and they absolutely do. I get emails almost every day from people around the world. In fact, I just had one this morning. Some guy said he saw some jujitsu video of me on the internet, and then on my jujitsu gi, I was wearing a Bitcoin patch on the back. So then he Googled Bitcoin, and then he found Bitcoin, and then he found Bitcoin Cash. Then he found like libertarianism and all this out there. So you just never know where like those seeds are going to spread from. But
yeah, and you never
keep on
know,
spreading
like,
those seeds
you
everywhere you
never
can.
know who that person's going to inspire, or maybe he might be the father to the next person, to the next Satoshi Nakamoto. So, you know,
Yeah.
we just got to keep that hope, man, and just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah. So I appreciate you, Roger. And I guess before we finish up, is there anything that you wanted to talk about or leave things
Yeah.
with before we
Just
finish this interview?
want to implore people, start using cryptocurrency in your life, right? Get a wallet to get it set up, start using it to pay for things whenever you can, and start using it to receive payment whenever you can. That's how we spread this to the world. So get started today, bitcoin.com.
Awesome. So I'm going to have links down below for everything we talked about. If this is your first time checking out my content, be sure to explore my channel. If you like what I'm doing, you can support me by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. And as always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change. And I love you all.